If the sun bursts out of existence, you have nothing to fear, for the first 8 minutes anyway. After that, all chaos creeps in slowly. Still, it wouldn't be the instant end to the life that you might think. Our sun isn't quite as old as other stars out there, but this very golden ball is just waiting to explode one day. Scientists have already figured out when the sun will explode and when hell would likely break loose. But naming when the sun will die accurately isn't as simple as throwing out a date. After all, we're talking about a massive ball of energy that we've barely managed to scratch the surface. However, scientists have somehow racked up a few key points about the sun's future, including the end of its current life phase. The sun will start to die out when it runs out of fuel in 5 billion years. After that, it will expand to become a red giant, and then shrink to become a white dwarf, and then a black dwarf or a dead star. But of course, we would be long gone before all that happens. The sun's explosion would bring down our entire solar system. While it might be the most magnificent fireworks show the world has laid its eyes on, in reality it'll be lights out and you likely won't see anything. While the Earth will doubtless vanish out of existence, the resulting shockwave alone won't be enough to destroy the whole Earth. But it would instantly boil away the side facing the sun. Even if the Earth doesn't meet its demise in the blast, it's still game over. The instant the sun manages to explode, even though it's far under the mass needed to do so, the laws of physics have gone sideways, and changes that drastic would almost definitely be incompatible with the continued existence of life. Without the sun and its mass keeping us in orbit, Earth would drift away into voids of space. Earth would float into the darks of space while its remaining inhabitants desperately struggle to stay alive. So, say we knew in advance the day sun would explode. We would still need thousands of years to equip to survive the sun's death. A band-aid for humanity to survive this crisis would be getting into huge fortified bunkers safely underground. Sun keeps our planet warm. Without its blessings, the planets in the solar system will get ice cold, which would make it harder for life to go on in the solar system. Sun's explosion would have Earth's temperature at minus, and within a year after the freak show, the oceans will start freezing from top to down. Within 1,000 years, the Earth's atmosphere would freeze and crumple, dumping anything left on Earth, unveiled to cosmic radiations and meteor impacts. Also, rough solar winds from the sun will beat the Earth and strip it of the magnetic field that generates its atmosphere. For all kinds of life, it's a scary time to think about, human or non-human, that might remain all those years from now. And we have a slew of other threats from the sun before that happens. Hopefully by that time, we would locate ourselves a new home. There are odds of the floating Earth locking into orbits of some other sun-like star that might provide the same heat, light, and energy as our sun, but it'll be too late till then. Even if the aftershock of the sun's explosion doesn't reach Earth in a very catastrophic way, we'd still be 92 million miles away from a ridiculous nuclear explosion in space. So, say there's no ultimate destruction after the sun's blast off, life without the sun would still be catastrophic. All the plants and crops would die quickly, and so would the animals because they have nothing to eat. If the event is on short notice, we'd probably have the scientific technology to support a small number of human lives, maybe a few million people. Genetically modified crops and farming, artificial heat, and lighting would aid the few million, but 99% of humans would probably die within the first 5 to 6 months. And the few million lucky survivors would probably die out within a few decades. The only silver lining is that this chaos won't happen immediately. A supernova is like bursting a balloon, but when our sun dies, it will happen slowly, like when you gradually let the air out of a balloon. A star explosion, a supernova, is very bright and powerful and releases lots of dust into space, which is used to make more stars and planets. Even our solar system was put together using stuff from these explosions. The dying star will get bigger and slightly colder, turning into what astronomers call a red giant. It will get so big that the sheer dose of radiation alone would fry Mercury, Venus, and even Earth. After transitioning to a red giant, the sun will be big and puffy and will start to blow off its outer layers out of the solar system. It will get smaller and smaller, eventually becoming what we call a white dwarf. All that's left of the sun now is the core of a dead star. While being the size of the Earth only, they are super heavy, weighing almost as much as the sun itself. A teaspoon of a white dwarf would weigh as much as an adult elephant. Most of the solar system will still live on after the Sun is a white dwarf, but the trio of the inner planets will be long gone. However, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune will outlive the explosion and continue to go around what's left of the Sun. And so will the asteroid belt, Kuiper belt, and dwarf planets like Pluto. Because a white dwarf is small, it doesn't produce as much light. A white dwarf doesn't have any fuel to give it energy, so it also gets colder and colder over time. Eventually, it will become pitch dark, as a white dwarf doesn't produce much light. The bottom line here is that the Sun would lose its outer layers to the cosmos, leading to the creation of other stars and planets. So this would be Big Bang Part 2. If by some miracle humanity still exists to that point, we might be able to fill the room for a new star to take the Sun's place. Even if there's no replacement star, humanity might build spaceships that will allow us to leave Earth and have inroads to other Earth-like planets into some other galaxies. Or better, humanity might even have built something to move the Earth. This would let the planet survive being feasted on by the Sun as a red giant. The Sun will become a red giant and then a white dwarf over billions of years. This is a very long time. No way we can watch a star do all of this. But our galaxy makes it easier to learn how stars are born and die. The Milky Way has stars of all ages, and astronomers have come to terms with which ones are young, old, or dead. By studying the old and dead stars, we can discover what will happen to our Sun in the far, far future. Worst case scenario, Earth would be an inhospitable wasteland drifting aimlessly through space. But if we get lucky enough, humanity might as well dodge the explosion and still sustain somewhere else, or even our solar system with a new star. What's luckier for us is that the Sun is showing no signs of disappearing anytime soon. But the future of Earth is grim, and this is perhaps why so much energy is focused on space travel and bringing us to other planets. Not only would humanity continue surviving, but we'd also have a new home to go to when the Sun eventually dies. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, let us know what would you like the next video to be about. I'll be reading you in the comments. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell for future updates. See you soon.